his watch, over 100 small businesses has been displaced to make way for luxury developments and mostly low-wage jobs.
So right now, we have some Fury members who are going to go into the building to deliver a letter to Joe Chan that explains exactly how Joe Chan could work with us and other people in the community to produce real good jobs for downtown Brooklyn and surrounding neighborhoods.
Fury was working hard organizing people, but the Downtown Brooklyn Partnership was spearheaded by a group of well-connected board members, some of whom had positioned themselves to make a lot of money off the Downtown Brooklyn plan. Fred Harris, the senior vice president of Avalon Bay, a national developer, built 800 units of luxury housing on Myrtle Avenue and was building an additional 800 on Bridge Street. Al LeBeause, who evicted the businesses on Willoughby Street, sold Harris the land for $71 million, roughly 5 times its value before the rezoning. Greg Walpert, of the Stahl Organization, was building a 50-story tower on Bridge Street. Paul Travis, a former vice president of the Economic Development Corporation, was a partner in the City Point project on the Albee Square Mall site. Developer Don Kaposha built Torrin. And I found out Joe Sitt and several key board members were part of a business advocacy group that wrote the original Downtown Brooklyn plan and gave it to the city planning department. And the results of all this? By 2011, there were 6,300 new units of luxury housing downtown. In addition, 700 affordable units were built, but some of these were available to families earning as much as $130,000 a year. In 2011 alone, residential subsidies totaled $200 million, and those subsidies would continue for 15 to 25 years.
The process of gentrification in New York is not about people moving into a neighborhood and other people moving out of a neighborhood. The process of gentrification is about corporations sectioning off large chunks of those neighborhoods and then planning out their long-term development. And in that process, one also is planning out the removal of large numbers of people whose community attachments are there. It's actually about tearing down neighborhoods and building different neighborhoods. And the idea that the city doesn't have a role in making sure that the collective aims of the people are actually achieved in development is obscene.
They said at the end of August, the mall's coming down, so if they want everybody out. We asked if we could put a location, a sign in front of the mall where our new locations will be, and they told us no. We lost a lot of customers. People just don't know where we're at.
I moved over here, and thank God, most of all of my customers follow me. I got help from them.
The city helped you, or?
No, not at all. I don't feel like I was treated right. I hope they consider the old community. I mean, to build up the new one, I think they have to consider the old communities too. And that's what communities share. That's what I want.
You see how many people have moved out of here though, Kelly? You see how all the stores are gone now? You know, these guys are just hanging on by the skin of their teeth because they're gonna be getting the push out too.
In 2011, I met up with Rayson Houston again to see how all the new development was playing out on the ground.
You got all the major stores. They're coming in. The smaller stores are going out. We have the Sheraton Hotel on Duffield Street. Who thought about the Sheraton Hotel? Are you kidding me? Single rooms are going for $329. Suites were starting at $529 a night. I used to work across the street here for HRA. If you became homeless and you had nowhere to stay and you were out here walking in the streets, you could come down here. They will find you somewhere to live, somewhere to stay for that night until you got appointed a shelter. Now, this building did so much important work for people. We found out that this building was going out of its lease and it wasn't going to be reopened. It's 3:30. Look up and down this avenue right now. Just look. All of these were businesses right here. The bagel guy. This block is completely abandoned now. Wow, this is Bridge Street. Complete, total empty block. No stores open on this block. This block was like just buzzing right here. Hey, Leroy.
What's up, Mason?
How you doing?
All right.
All right?
You got my...
Yeah.
I'll let you.
All right.
All right, baby.
These are guys and these are families that have been downtown all their lives. You know, there is like, I don't know, I really tell you the truth, I don't frequent downtown like I used to because there is nothing for me to come down here to frequent about.
Things are going amazingly in downtown Brooklyn. Downtown Brooklyn really over the last 18 to 24 months has reemerged as one of New York City's premier retail destinations. You know, we've got Shake Shack coming. We've got a creperie that's opening at 80 DeKalb Avenue. We've got a Smash Burger that's opening in the same building. We've had an expansion of Brooklyn Fare, which is downtown Brooklyn's first supermarket, and very dynamic emergence of the Chef's Table there, which was the first eatery in Brooklyn ever to get 2 Michelin stars.
We have a great desire and a pent-up demand for the same kind of shopping everybody else has. And so when the right physical and demographic and logistical setup presents itself, we can see those big boxes kind of swooping in. And we have an influx of regular mall stores that's really going to put the mall back in Fulton Mall.
This is in front of Albee Square Mall. A part of me is missing right now. You know, not only is the structure of the mall going, that's one thing, but the people are going. You know, so it's a hell of a thing to see for me, you know, having been a child in the 1960s, growing up, seeing things then and looking at how things are now, it's very troubling to me. There's no sense of joy. Despite the countless cafes that have opened up in the restaurants, there's still an emptiness with me. I mean, you know, fine, I could eat in restaurants now that weren't there 20 years ago, but what I prefer is to see some of the people who I, you know, used to eat with 20 years ago. I miss engaging them, you know, versus being in a restaurant and I'm the only person there and I know nobody.
The landlords see the new hotels coming in. He raised the rent up high. Shoot, he raised it up another $2,000 a month.
We said, you know what? Let's try to save the business. And here we are. We tried saving the business, and now they're getting rid of us from here. I mean, it's crazy. It hurts. It really hurts.
I know a lot of members of my family who left New York because they can't afford the rent anymore. So now we're all separated. So I miss being around my family.
You know, it's time to go. It's time to go. It's a dead end, and we're in the dead end.
It occurred to me that there was a new kind of redlining happening, only this time in reverse. Soon, a wealthier class of people would be calling downtown Brooklyn their own, whether that meant living, shopping, or hanging out there. 100,000 people a day had shopped at Fulton Mall, a population that was now being pushed to the margins of the city. In 2010, my ex-husband and I finally sold our apartment in Fort Greene. Even though I made money off the sale, I couldn't afford to buy anything anywhere near downtown Brooklyn. I ended up in Sunset Park, a few miles away, which is nice. But yet again, I feel like my daughter and I are starting from scratch. I miss walking in my neighborhood and running into people I know. With time, I'm sure more people like me will arrive. And while part of me likes the idea of the changes that will come with them, another part of me fears this neighborhood will change too quickly, displacing my Mexican and Chinese neighbors. When this area changes, I'll probably have more options than most of the people here. But this all has me wondering whether anybody benefits from a city where people have less and less ability to put down roots, to build community, and to participate fully in public life.
This is not the only way that a city gets governed. This is not the only way that development happens. We actually have real choices. But it's not going to happen if we submit to a kind of defeatism which says that the corporations have all the power and the politicians are with them, so there's nothing we can do about it. And it's not going to happen if we actually don't get beneath the slogans. Because gentrification isn't a simple thing. It's actually a set of real decisions, and a set of real decisions that ordinary people can intervene in. But we actually have to make that decision.
In the summer of 2011, I invited a whole array of people from all over Brooklyn to come and be filmed. I asked them, what's your Brooklyn?
My Brooklyn is black, it's white, it's straight, it's gay, it's affordable.
Going to parks with the kids and meet people you've seen many times.
My Brooklyn is old school, old-fashioned, we stick together.
Artistry and family. The beautiful connection of small neighborhoods where people yell at each other from across the street because they want to know what's going on in your life.
There's a lot of different people crammed into Brooklyn, and that's what I really like about it.
It's a place where I know I can raise my kids, and they can also raise their kids.
My Brooklyn is fresh, dope, and full of love.
I hadn't felt hopeful in a long time, but that day I was touched by the fact that we all valued so many of the same things. Despite all the gentrification, there's still a really diverse community here. But it won't stay that way unless we can keep it affordable. We need to talk to one another about what's important to us. We need to connect the dots between city policy and neighborhood change. And if what we value is being threatened, we need to advocate for what we really want and need.
My Brooklyn is a place for people who love and respect Brooklyn and the people of Brooklyn.
My Brooklyn is the United Nations, where flags used to line the streets from every country, from Russia to Ukraine, Jamaica, Guyana, Haiti. Hey!
Brooklyn!